Hello, and welcome to your Assistant Elections. Today is the 10th of October 2020, and I'm going to be making another Senate video, which will be covering the most current polls as of the 10th of October, and filling in the Senate map, and seeing if the Democrats or the Republicans are currently favored to win control of the Senate for 2021 when they will be taking their seats, and going to be seeing if there's any changes since the last video I made, which was roughly 20 days ago now. So, as you can see, I've filled in all the basically safe seats, would you say? I'd say they are all safe seats. You could say that Alabama, which is currently held by the Democrat Doug Jones against Tommy Tuberville, is not safe, but effectively it is safe. All of these seats, all of these Senate seats, will be going to the Democrats or the Republicans, no matter what. No matter what changes happen from now up until election day, this is definitely going to be the Senate map for all of these seats. And the Democrats currently have 44, so they would only need 6 if they won the presidency. Republicans would need 8 if they won the presidency. And if the opposition party won for either of these, for either of the parties, so say Joe Biden won, the Republicans would need 51 seats to have a Senate majority, and vice versa. If Donald Trump won, then the Democrats would need 51 seats to have a Senate majority because the vice president breaks the Senate tie. Now we're going to be starting off with Republican likely seats, and there's quite a lot of these. Of course, the Republicans have a lot more Senate seats to defend this cycle than the Democrats do, and these are seats like Texas, like Kentucky, Georgia, at large. Not the special election. The special election is likely to go to Republican unless there's a huge shift for Georgia, but there doesn't seem to be that in the Senate. So what I'm saying is Texas, Georgia, Alaska is showing that it's going to be a likely seat for Republicans, and Kansas as well is probably going to be likely. Now this is mostly looking at FiveThirtyEight polls. There's not too many polls on Senate seats, especially ones like Kansas, Alaska, Texas. These are the seats that are expected to stay with the party. Roughly 75% plus amount of the time, these seats will be won by the Republican incumbents that are holding them. And there's really not much change that's going to happen in these 5 Senate seats. And this puts the Republicans up to 47 seats. And now we're going to be looking at the Democrats. None of these have actually changed since I last did a video, so I'm not going to cover much detail on these. And these aren't the seats that are really going to be deciding who takes the Senate. So there are some flips in this. First of all, Michigan is not a flip. New Hampshire is not a flip. Whether we are seeing Colorado and Arizona are now in the likely column for the Democrats. Colorado currently held by Cory Gardner, a Republican, and Martha McSally, a Republican in Arizona. However, the challengers, John Hickenlooper, the former governor of Colorado, is doing extremely well, consistently polling above 5 points. So as long as he has a 5, you've seen up to I think just below a double-digit lead, and Mark Kelly is having double-digit leads at some points. But between both of them, it's about a 5 to 10 point lead in the Southwest region. New Mexico, Colorado, and Arizona all shifting very much and dramatically so towards the Democratic Party. There's a lot of people moving into the Sun Belt, so there's a lot of demographic change happening across the southern United States as a whole, and Colorado and Arizona are definitely seeing the effects of this very importantly. And the strong Democratic challengers to the Republican incumbents in these seats is playing very well, and it's almost certain at this point that Colorado and Arizona will be flipping to the Democrats, and Democrats will pick up 2 seats in the Southwest region of the United States Senate. Now, this currently puts it at 48 Democrat seats to 47 Republican seats, and we're going to be moving on to the lean Republicans, and this is currently Montana and South Carolina. Now, Lindsey Graham originally in South Carolina was a safe seat. There was nothing going wrong. However, in the past few months, Jamie Harrison has been doing a very, very effective campaign, and he's been polling especially close. He's been seeing. I saw one poll only a couple of days ago that had Jamie Harrison 1 point above Lindsey Graham. The rest seem to have Lindsey Graham 1 or 2 points ahead or dead even at the moment. So South Carolina still is very much a Republican stronghold. It's not going to flip in the presidential election unless there's a huge tidal wave of support for Joe Biden presidential-wise, but there's no sign of that happening. You'd have to see like a 15-point plus popular vote win nationwide for that to happen. But South Carolina is still going to go to Donald Trump in the presidential election. However, it was also probably going to stay for Lindsey Graham. It's still a Republican uh, state. And even though Jeremy Harrison is running a very close campaign and Lindsey Graham is having to defend quite a lot of things, such as the Supreme Court comments that he made only 2 years ago after the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, as well as before them, he has a very questionable and controversial record that he now has to defend. But there seems to be enough conservatives and Republicans, evangelical Christians especially, that will come out in enough support to ensure the senator is re-elected for his third term. And Montana, uh, again, it was very much considered a safe state back at the start of this year. But Steve Bullock, who initially said he was not going to run for Senate, is now running against Steve Daines, who is the incumbent. And there's still quite a lot of love and popular support for Steve Daines. So even though Steve Bullock is also a very popular former governor, actually, I believe he is the governor, he's just not running for election this governor cycle. It seems that there's going to be, not enough support for Steve Bullock as Steve Daines uh, is quite a strong candidate for the Republican Party and he's an incumbent. That's always going to help him. And the Republicans are likely to hold on to these two states, which initially were considered safe, but have become more competitive as the candidates have gone through their campaigns and become aware of the public eye. Now, this currently puts the Republicans at 49. They'd only need one or uh, two more seats to gain a Senate majority. However, the Democrats currently have a lean lead in North Carolina and similarly a lean lead in Maine. Now, Sarah Gideon, the Speaker of the House the Speaker of the Maine House of Representatives, is doing quite well against Susan Collins. Of course, she's lost quite a lot of popular support. She used to be one of the most popular senators in the country since the Brett Kavanaugh hearings and siding with Donald Trump in many votes. Her popularity has seriously deteriorated and crumbled, and Sarah Gooding currently has, up to 5-point leads in many of the polls shown there. And same with Cal Cunningham in North Carolina. Tom Tills, North Carolina is probably one of the most important swing states in the country this election, in all parts of it, House, Senate, and presidential level. But what it does seem to be at the moment is Cal Cunningham has slight edges, 3-4 point leads in the most recent polling data, and there's quite a lot of polls going on in Maine and North Carolina because these are definitely being seen as the main battleground Senate states where the Democrats can take seats of vulnerable Republican incumbents. Now, this currently gives the Democrats 50 seats in the Senate, according to the 10th of October, and this leaves Iowa as the only state. And Joni Ernst, the incumbent, is running a very competitive campaign against Theresa Greenfield. And currently, Theresa Greenfield is leading in just over the average amount of polls. She has basically a 1 point margin lead at the moment. So this is essentially a toss up, but I'm going to characterize it as a tilt Democratic state, tilt Democratic Senate seat, as Theresa Greenfield is doing quite well. Joni Ernst has, quite lost quite a lot of support. She's not like Chuck Grassley. She's not hugely popular in the state of Iowa, and there's definitely seen a resurgence for a state that went to 10 points, that went to Trump by 10 points back in 2016. And you've seen it in Ohio as well. You've seen polling presidential wise. I'm going to get into that into a later video I'll make at the start of next week. But there's definitely been huge shifts in polling in both of these states, which have been very positive for the Democrats and shown a huge shift back towards the Obama years when both of these states voted for him in 2008 and 2012. So overall, the map is a very narrow Senate majority for the Democrats and a pickup in the Senate as Republicans currently have a 53 to 47 seat majority. This will be flipped by 5 states changing. That would be Iowa, Colorado, Arizona, North Carolina, Maine, and Alabama. Yeah, sorry, not 5. Would be 6 if that happened. And yeah, that would be quite important. And if you're just going to go to FiveThirtyEight, where I get most of my polling data, they currently have, the exact same. They're saying the average is 51.1, but is very, very slight at this point. Here it is. It says out of 68 in 100 chances, Democrats win control, and in the 32 other ones, the Republicans retain control. So quite a lot can happen, especially with, the swing districts such as Iowa, North Carolina, Maine, and those are the three that I say will actually decide the Senate. It's going to be full. The best case scenario for the Republicans is that they win all three of these and they get a 52 to 48 seat. And the best one for the Democrats is what it currently is looking like via polls, and that would be a 51 to 49 for the Democrats. So, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all again soon.